What is up, you guys? Chase Livingston here, your trainer for life. And in this video, I'm going to share the most powerful thing that you can do in order to get the results that you want in life. You know, no matter what it is, whether it's got to do with your fitness or your finances, your family or your faith, this has been the most powerful thing for me to get the results that I wanted. So I'm going to be kind of jumping in and out here, but this video actually comes from a coaching call that I did with some of my online and in-person clients because this information was something I felt like I really needed to share with them. And so I'm also super excited to be sharing with you. So I'm going to be kind of jumping back and forth in and out of this so I can really share some other stuff with you, but be sure to stick around to the very end where I share a bonus tip that has been incredibly powerful for myself. So without further ado, let's dive into the content. Hey, welcome to this week's coaching call, and going to share some stuff that I think is going to be, I would say, life-changing. For me, it's been life-changing. You know, I got my friend Jason, he's on the call today, and I know for him, it's been life-changing as well. So I'm super excited about what we're going to share, but what I want to talk about first is this right here. Can y'all read that? Gap Week. I want to talk to you guys about Gap Week. So right now, you know, here we are, we're in the midst of the holidays. We got Christmas in a week. I am super pumped up. I'm excited. I can't wait. I know my son, he's getting anxious. We're doing the whole Advent calendar and counting down the days and all that kind of stuff. But what I'm really excited about is what I call Gap Week. Now, I'm sure you guys may or may not be familiar with this, but what Gap Week is the week between Christmas and New Year. And all throughout, you know, history, I guess, we can say this week has been the week when people historically do absolutely nothing. I mean, it is like the week where we all check out. You know, we're eating leftovers. We're hanging out with our family. We're just like, you know what? Like, I could start on those New Year's resolutions, but I think I'm just going to wait until January 1st. But hey, for this group right here, what I want to encourage you guys to do is I want this to be your new year. I want us to get started, not even necessarily that week, but even right now on the things that we want to accomplish in 2024. And today what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some things that's going to help you get there. Okay, so over the past few weeks, we've talked about, you know, setting goals and how to do that properly. We talked about the power of belief and why belief is so critical to achieving success. But we have yet to talk about the thing that actually drives results. You know, and so I'll share a little bit about what drives us to take action, because as you guys know, if I ask you guys what drives results, it's taking action, right? It's doing things, because right now we're doing things and those things are eliciting results. However, are they the right actions? Are they the right things we should be doing to get the results that we want? Or are they actions that's actually driving us further away from the thing that we want to achieve? And so there's some things that we're driven by, you know, that lead us to take these actions. We're driven by appetite, right? Thinking about that Thanksgiving and Christmas food. We're driven by passion, the things that we love and we care about and things that just kind of drive us. We're driven by prejudice. You know, beliefs that we have about certain things cause us to take action. We're driven by greed. You know, we kind of view greed as a bad thing, which it can be, but greed also does drive us to make decisions. We can be greedy about some things, you know. We're driven by love. Love drives us to take certain actions. Fear causes us to take certain actions. And environment. The people we're around, the places that we go to, these things cause us to take certain actions. But there's one thing here that we're driven by, and it's probably the most important thing out of all of these, and that, my friends, is our habits. And that's what I really want to talk to you guys about today is our habits. Aristotle has a famous quote that says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is not a habit or not an act, but it's a habit. It's who we are." And so, you know, whenever I was in like 7th grade, I went to Liberty Idle High School, which if you don't know anything about LE, like they literally called us lower education, like LE, lower education. And we were known as like the Bebe kids. Like seriously, like my class was like the absolute worst. We gave our principal crap. We gave our teachers crap. We were not the best group of kids. And we ended up getting this principal to come in and like basically give us this attitude adjustment, right? And this new principal we did not like at all. We did not like her because she came in and she like meant business. She was very much like a dictator, and she was like, hey, we're going to do things this way. I'm going to start putting lines down the hall where if you're on the right side, you're going this way. If you're on the left side, you're going this way. I mean, she was very much like, a little like Hitler, I will say. But I remember she put up this banner at the front of the school that said, it was this quote by Aristotle: "We are what we repeatedly do. Therefore, excellence is not an act, but a habit." And she would make us repeat this thing. And, we talked a lot of crap about her and we gave her a lot of heck and all this different kind of stuff. But years later, I see what she was doing. I see the power behind that quote, because really that is the thing that determines our lives is our habits. That's really what it comes down to. And, right now, you are the sum total of your habits. I mean, our habits make up who we are. And, we like to talk about, well, I have free will. Well, I can do this. Well, I can do that with my life if I want to. And that's true. We do have free will. However, we have compromised our free will, if you will. We have compromised our free will because of our habits. And so if we want to get the results that we want to get now, I don't know what your goals are. I don't know what things you are wanting to achieve, whether it's health and fitness, you've got something in life you want to go after, but whatever it is, it comes down to our habits. Therefore, we have to destroy our bad habits and we have to start cultivating good habits. Once again, we talk about, how we're driven by our accumulated habits that we have. This is why change is so hard. This is why when I talk to people about it, going after the health and fitness goal, it's difficult because many people are driven by years and years and years of performing certain habits. And in order to break those habits or change those habits, it requires a lot. And so today I'm going to actually break down how we do that, how we can change these habits, and ultimately start implementing habits that serve us better towards what we're wanting to go after. Because the truth, one of nature's laws is that a habit cannot be broken. You cannot break a habit. A habit has to be replaced. If we want to see a different habit in our life, we can't think about the thing that we want to break. We have to start replacing it with something new. That's why many times people will say things like, well, I just don't have time to, go to the gym or to eat healthy or whatever it is. But really what it is you need to change your habits because you have time. However, you have prioritized other habits over creating this new habit. And so what I want to do is I want to talk to you guys about something called the power of habits. And we're going to break down what the habit process looks like. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit. Are y'all kind of vibing with what I'm saying right now? Jason, what do you think, brother?
I think you sounded really on point for sure. Everything revolves around your mindset. There was one thing I wish you had on the list, the first list before all of that motivating factor, and it's pride. And
Absolutely.
Pride can go both ways. It can be your biggest defeat or your biggest asset. And when it comes to motivating yourself and improving on yourself and your mindset and your lifestyle and just your overall health in general, you just take a little pride in yourself. Look at the product that you're putting out as a person and step your game up. Step that pride level up about what you're going to present to everybody out there.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, pride, like you said, man, there's two sides of the coin. It can either build you or it can break you. And it really depends on how you allow it to fuel you in a way. I mean, that's why pride is like the greatest sin, because if we allow pride to overcome us, it ends up destroying us. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But there are times when, Jason, you say something like, Chase, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you did. That builds me up. That builds me up. That makes me want to do that thing again, because we love that. We love hearing when our friends or our parents or our coworkers or our bosses or whoever it is says, man, I'm proud of you for what you did. So.
I deal with a lot of people who don't get to hear that on a regular basis, because of their mistakes in life, because of the bad habits that they've chosen, over the good. And man, that's the first thing I start telling them. I sponsor several people on the AA and NA side. And the first thing I start telling them is, I'm proud of you. Whether it's, I'm proud of you that you just reached out for help, right, or I'm proud that you've been one day sober, or I'm proud that you've decided to make that call to change your life. But it's about finding that happy medium where it's not pushing you down, but building you up.
That's so good.
We're all going to have pride in our lives. And just like I said, it can be your worst enemy or it can be your greatest asset. But you have to find that fine line and walk that line and not dip to both sides. Because if you get to that side where it's your greatest asset too much, you get a little bit too much and you forget to be humble in it all.
Yeah,
and that's where it starts pushing you back down as it's your enemy.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, hey, let's dive into this whole method that we're going to talk about here on how to take a habit and to change and create a habit. And so basically, here's what this process looks like. Okay, first we have to diagnose 3 separate parts. Okay. Now, the first part, this is the cue. Okay, we have the cue. We have the reward. And we have the routine. And these 3 things make up every single habit that we have. So we've got the cue. Can't write. We've got the routine. We've got the reward. Okay, so when you get the cue, that shifts you into that routine. When you complete that routine, it gives you the reward. Therefore, it starts to create that positive feedback loop that we want. So here at the substitution into the routine, this is where the change has to occur. Right? This is where we're replacing some things, because remember, we can't just delete a habit. We can't just remove a habit. We have to change or create a new habit by substituting or switching it out or whatever it may be. And that's how we start to create this positive feedback loop that then when we do it over and over and over again, it becomes hardwired into our system.
Okay, you guys, so I wanted to jump on here really quick to kind of elaborate on this concept a little bit further. In the video, when I was doing the coaching call, I kind of didn't really explain it the best, so I wanted to cut in here really quick and do a much better job. So you have these 3 things, right? The cue, the reward, and the routine. And so to kind of break this down in terms of fitness is when you have the cue, that would be something like waking up first thing in the morning, or it would be getting off work. That would be your cue that initiates the routine. The routine would be going for a run or a walk or going to the gym, right? And then the reward would be getting one step closer to that fitness goal, the dopamine rush that you get from running, or that satisfaction that you get of going to the workout, that protein shake that you're looking forward to after. There's all these different rewards that you can kind of use here, right? So you have the cue, which initiates it, right? As soon as you wake up, that's the cue to get on those shoes and go for that run. The run is the routine that you're trying to build, the habit that you're trying to create. And then the reward might be a nice hot shower after you get done, or a protein shake or something like that, or those endorphins flowing through your body, however you want to like mentally, consciously think of that. And so hopefully that kind of helps you see what these 3 things are, so that when you start to develop these habits, you start to actually constructively start building them, that you can actually think, okay, well, what's my cue going to be? What's my actual routine going to be? What's my reward going to be? And so there's a couple of different things that I want you to think about. What is the habit habit that you want to build? That might be where you start. What is the routine that you're trying to create? Is it eating healthier foods? Is it going to the gym? Is it spending more time with your family, quality time? Is it, daily Bible reading? What is the routine that you're wanting to develop? Then you can kind of backtrack and find the cue. What is going to be that cue that initiates it? For some it could be, hey, dinner's ready. This is when I usually just start plowing into my food. But maybe instead of just diving right into my dinner without really even thinking about it, maybe knowing dinner's ready is the cue for me to, hey, take just a few minutes to really connect with my family, ask how their day's going, what's been going on, and that intimate connection can then start to build a habit that reaps a reward that maybe in that moment it's a special connection, but even days, weeks, years down the road, it becomes something that really becomes formed that is rewarding in even more ways than that.
They've done some research that says that doing something every day for 30 days is going to create a habit. I've seen some research that says 21 days. I've seen 66 days. I've seen 90 days. And so kind of the thing that I use to start implementing this system when I have a habit that I'm wanting to change or create or build is I use what's called the 21-90 rule. And I can't really tell you where I got this. I don't remember where I got it. But basically, what the 21-90 rule states is that you're going to build a habit for 21 days. So whatever that habit is that you're wanting to build, it's going to take 21 days of consciously having to think and hardwire it into your system. That 21 days is difficult. For many people, it's hard to do the 21 full days. But here's the thing is after the 21 days, it starts to get easier. It starts to get a little bit better.
The craziest thing about our habits is it drives so much of our lives. We never really have to think about brushing our teeth or, putting on our shoes and tying the laces. We don't even have to think about these things. We just do them. And that is why habits are powerful us to incorporate when it comes to the things that we really want to do. So one thing that I've had to really work on over the past few weeks is doing these emails where I'm sending out emails every single day and they're more personalized. And I know that I need to do that every single day. And at first, for the first 21 days, this is very difficult. It requires a lot of effort to sit down and actually push out the emails. But now that that's behind me and I'm really working towards this 90-day mark, which I may have even passed it at this point where I really don't have to think about it. It's that time of the day, I open up the laptop and boom, I go to work. I know it's something that I need to do. It's kind of hardwired into my system. And that's really what we want to happen with all of these good, positive habits that we want to build. Because when we build these habits and we no longer have to think about them, it's hardwired into us. It then opens up that mental bandwidth for us to be able to start thinking up other things, right? Start placing our mind in other things. So it frees us up a little bit when these habits become instilled. So at first, during that first 21 days, it can be a lot. It can really require a lot of startup energy. However, once that 21 days is out of the way, you can then just kind of keep that foot on the gas a little bit, right? You're still a little aware of it. You're still a little conscious of it as you work towards that 90-day mark. And then it ultimately becomes a part of who you are.
Then to solidify it, you want to make it to 90 full days. If you make it to 90 full days, now it's been incorporated into your lifestyle. Now it's a part of who you are. You no longer have to physically and consciously think about this new habit that you want to create. It is really a part of who you are. So I guess I answered my own question that it takes 90 days to kind of get to that place where you no longer really have to think about it, right? 90 days of continuously doing something. And so for me, there is one thing that I did to really, really help me accomplish this. Whenever I first got started out in health and fitness, I was dead broke. I had no money in my pocket. I really didn't know how to get to the place where I wanted to go. And there was many things that I wanted to achieve in life. I was like a college dropout. I wanted to go back to college and be successful there. I wanted to get in shape. I wanted to do better with my relationships. I wanted to be confident with women. All of these different things that I wanted to do, right? I wanted to start my own business, all of this stuff. I wanted to be an actor. And I found this program that came up and it was called the 67 Steps. And I was like, okay, well, what's this program? It was ran by a guy named Ty Lopez. I don't even know if he's still around. But anyways, I start looking into this program, and basically it is exactly what we're talking about here. It's developing habits every single day that ultimately get you to the place where you want to go. And every single day he had like a simple list of instructions that you do. You had to do like some daily reading. You had to listen to one of his videos, all of this different stuff. And I was like, man, and he did a sale on it, right? And it was for sale for $67, like $1 for each day. And I can remember thinking like, oh my gosh, this is a huge investment. Like, I don't know if I can make this investment. And so like, I'm sitting in front of my laptop and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to get the program. And I did it, right? And so throughout this program, the 67 days, man, I was locked in on it because $67 was a lot for me. Then I was like, I didn't want any of this money to go to waste. And I started implementing all of these different things that he's telling me as I'm going through. And, you know, of course, the whole idea is, you know, by the end of the 67 days, you're going to be rich, you're going to be making money, you're going to be confident, all this different stuff, like the huge sell, right? And I got to the end of the 67 days and I looked at my life. My bank account kind of looked the same. My body kind of looked the same. Like maybe there was a little bit of change in my body from working out and all that different kind of stuff. My relationships and all that different kind of stuff, for the most part, it looked the same. However, the inside was completely different because now after the 67 days was over, momentum had been built and there was this wheel that was rolling that was now taking over. And so 90 days passed, 120 days passed, months start to go by where the same habits that I built in this 67-step program were now running my life. And that's when I started to see the change. A year later, I was a completely different person. And so that's the power of this. But there was one thing that I took away from this program. I believe it was this program. It might have been something else. But I've seen it even on Reddit that has completely like changed the game for me. And it is called the Don't Break the Chain method. And this method was developed by, Jerry Seinfeld. So Jerry Seinfeld, he's a comedian you guys know. And he set this goal that every single day he wanted to write a new joke. That was his goal. Every single day, I'm going to write a joke. Don't care if it's bad, good, whatever. I just want to get in the habit of writing a quality joke. You know what I mean? And so what he did was he got a calendar like this, right? He got a calendar like this, and he got a big red Sharpie, and he posted this on his wall. And every single day that he wrote that joke, he would put an X on the day. And then the next day he would write that joke. He would put an X on the day. And he would do this day after day after day. And then soon there was a chain, a red chain going across the calendar. And if there was ever a gap in that chain, mentally, that was very hard to look at. He didn't want to break the chain. And so therefore it re-incentivized this. Okay, I don't want to break the chain. I want to keep the red X's going across the page month after month after month. And therefore it started to instill in him this idea of writing jokes every single day. And, I'm not the biggest fan of Seinfeld's jokes or anything. It's not really my humor, but I can tell you that day after day after day of doing that, the quality and the content of his jokes is going to improve. It's going to get better. It's going to start to do something where it becomes easier for him, where he doesn't have to consciously think about him, where he's looking out in the external environment for the things that he can write about with these jokes and stuff like that. And so that's the power of habits.
Hey, you guys, thank you so much for sticking around to the very end of the video. What I want to do right now is share with you one simple strategy that I personally used in my own life to really help me build these habits. Because let's be real, like we're talking about the power of habits, and right now we're putting it in very simplistic terms, but as humans, we're kind of hardwired. I mean, these habits really do have us in this cycle. And so when we start to really try to create them, it's important that we find strategies that work for us. And so this was one that really, really worked for me. And this is called pre-macking. Now, you might be familiar with the word pre-macking, but basically what pre-macking is it's using a preferred or enjoyable habit to build an unpleasurable or undesirable habit. And so how we can make this work basically is I love my coffee in the morning. I really enjoy drinking my coffee, like grabbing my cup, spending some time to myself. Like that's something that I look forward to every day. However, if there was a habit that I wanted to build that's really not that pleasurable, I would want to put that habit that I'm trying to build in front of that cup of coffee. Right? So let's say I'm wanting to go for a run. You know, I'm wanting to get in the habit of going for a run. In the morning, I would wake up and I would want to reach for that cup of coffee and get that instantaneous, like, you know, surge of caffeine, those good feelings, that time to myself. But before I can grab and enjoy that positive habit that I really enjoy, I've got to go build this other habit first. So I go for a run, I spend my 20, 30 minutes on my run, and then I come back and then I reward myself with the cup of coffee. And so now I start to do this every single day to where after I have my run, I get to enjoy my coffee. And that becomes a reward. So here is why this is so powerful, is because my habit of having that cup of coffee, it's already hardwired in. I don't have to think about it so much, and I really, really want that. However, the run may not be so much, right? So I want to start building the habit of running. So I go and I do this thing that I don't really like because I really want the cup of coffee. So it requires a little bit of effort on your part as far as like being disciplined and rewarding yourself that. However, the payoff can be huge in the immediate, by you getting that cup of coffee, and in the long term by you getting the positive dopamine rush, building this new habit, all of these different positive benefits that will come from the running. So that's something that you can do. Same thing, another one is like super simple nowadays, is like everybody is addicted to social media, right? We just like pull out our phone, we don't even think about it, and we open up the app. However, if we can be conscientious enough, we can be aware enough to, before we open that app, maybe we do something where we're going to, say some positive affirmations to ourselves, or we're going to, do a cold call really quick, or whatever that habit is that you're trying to develop. We're going to read a chapter out of the Bible, whatever it may be. We're going to do that first before we just open up that social media app, because we don't even have to think about opening that up, right? And that can be a pleasurable thing for us in sometimes. However, by building that habit that's a little bit more difficult first, by doing that action, that's going to lead us to get to that reward. And anyways, you guys get what I'm saying. It just kind of incentivizes us to continue to do that. So it requires some work on your part as far as being disciplined enough to follow through, but I believe the payoff is huge. So guys, anyways, that's it for today's video. I really hope this helped. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, please be sure to like and subscribe to this channel, and be on the lookout for more videos just like this to help you continue training for life. I'll see you next time.